In the grand pantheon of Greek mythology, few figures are as infamous or as pitiful as Oedipus. His story is the stuff of legend, a tragic hero, a twisty prophecy, and enough awkward family dynamics to fuel a dozen soap operas. Buckle up, because this ancient saga is one wild ride filled with desperate attempts to dodge destiny, unintentional patricide, and a mother of a plot twist. Literally. The unlucky start, prophecy at Delphi. Our tale kicks off at the Oracle of Delphi, the ancient Greek version of a fortune teller. But instead of vague tarot card readings, you got prophecies so specific they'd make your skin crawl. Before Oedipus even enters the scene, his biological parents, King Laius and Queen Jocasta of Thebes, had already gotten some bad news. Their son was fated to murder his father and marry his mother. Understandably horrified, they decided to take matters into their own hands. Ancient Greek code for abandon the baby on a mountainside and hope for the best. It didn't work. Little Oedipus didn't die in the wilderness. Instead, a compassionate shepherd rescued him and handed him over to the royal family of Corinth, where King Polybus and Queen Merope raised him as their own. Oedipus grew up believing he was Corinthian royalty, blissfully unaware of the cosmic mess he was born into. The oracle strikes again. Oedipus gets some bad news. As Oedipus grew older, he started hearing whispers, rumors that he wasn't actually the biological child of Polybus and Merope. Cue teenage identity crisis. Like any sensible young man of ancient times, he decided the best course of action was to ask the oracle at Delphi for some clarity. Bad move. Instead of a comforting pat on the back, the oracle delivered a prophecy that would make any sane person want to crawl under a rock. He was destined to kill his father and marry his mother. Thanks for the emotional trauma, oracle. Horrified and determined to thwart fate, Oedipus swore he would never return to Corinth, mistakenly believing Polybus and Merope were the parents in question. Instead, he struck out for Thebes, thinking he was sidestepping destiny. Unfortunately, he was actually sprinting straight into its open arms. Road rage, ancient Greek style. Somewhere along the dusty roads leading to Thebes, Oedipus had a fateful encounter with a group of travelers. Let's just say they didn't exactly exchange pleasantries. A heated argument broke out, reportedly over the right-of-way at a narrow crossroads called Phocis, and Oedipus, in a fit of anger, killed the travelers. One tiny, tragic detail. Among those travelers was King Laius of Thebes, Oedipus's real biological father. Oops. To make matters worse, Laius himself had been warned by an oracle years earlier not to have children, because his son would be his doom. In defense of young Oedipus, there were no "Hi, my name is Dad" stickers handed out. As far as he knew, he was just defending his honor, as was customary for a young nobleman challenged on the road. But destiny, as always, was playing the long game, quietly ticking off its checklist of chaos. Riddle me this: Oedipus versus the Sphinx. Fresh off his, shall we say, unfortunate altercation, Oedipus arrived at Thebes, which was currently having a serious Sphinx problem. This monstrous creature, part lion, part woman, part eagle, had parked herself outside the city gates, posing riddles to every traveler and devouring anyone who failed to answer correctly. Ancient Greece, where even commuting to work could get you eaten. The Sphinx's riddle was famously devious. What walks on 4 legs in the morning, 2 legs at noon, and 3 legs in the evening? Oedipus, with the confidence of a man who just won a bar trivia night, correctly answered man, referencing the stages of human life. The Sphinx, defeated and humiliated, promptly threw herself off a cliff, ending her reign of terror. The grateful citizens of Thebes wasted no time rewarding their new hero. They offered him the throne and the hand of their widowed queen, Jocasta, thus inadvertently setting the final pieces of the grim prophecy in motion. You see where this is going, right? The ultimate plot twist. Family ties revealed. Blissfully unaware of their true identities, Oedipus and Jocasta tied the knot and even started a family together. Things were going disturbingly well. But tragedy, like a bad smell in a small room, refused to stay hidden. Eventually, a plague struck Thebes because, clearly, things weren't grim enough, and the only solution was to find and punish the former king's murderer. Determined to save his people, and also probably looking for a distraction from his increasingly awkward family life, Oedipus launched an investigation. The deeper he dug, the worse the revelations got. Piece by horrifying piece, the truth emerged. He had killed Laius. He had married Jocasta. And horror of horrors, Jocasta was his mother. Congratulations, Oedipus. You've officially won the Greek Mythology Lifetime Achievement Award for Worst Life Choices. When self-discovery goes terribly wrong. Understandably, Oedipus didn't take the news well. Jocasta was equally horrified. In true tragic fashion, she fled to her chambers and took her own life by hanging. Oedipus, upon discovering her dead body, was overcome with grief and guilt, and in a frenzy of despair, he blinded himself with the sharp pins of Jocasta's dress brooches, a gruesome, symbolic act of self-punishment. His decision to blind himself, rather than kill himself, reflected a deeper wish to suffer and bear witness to the consequences of his actions. Oedipus then abdicated the throne and went into self-imposed exile, wandering the land as a cursed outcast. His fate would later be fulfilled at Colonus, where he would find a form of redemption and be received by the gods, closing the tragic arc of a life lived under relentless destiny. Fate versus free will. Who's really driving this chariot? Oedipus's story isn't just about epic bad luck and family drama. It's also a deep philosophical exploration of fate, free will, and the limits of human agency. From the very beginning, Oedipus tried to avoid his destiny. He made conscious choices to flee Corinth, to avoid harming those he thought were his parents. Ironically, every attempt to sidestep fate only pulled him closer to fulfilling it. It's as if the universe was playing an elaborate prank, and Oedipus was the unwitting punchline. The ancient Greeks seemed obsessed with this idea, that no matter how clever or cautious you are, some destinies just can't be dodged. It's the mythological equivalent of setting a GPS to anywhere but there, and still somehow ending up at exactly there. Lessons from the life and collapse of Oedipus. While it's easy to mock the absurdity of Oedipus's plight, and let's be honest, the irony is thick enough to spread on toast, his story carries profound lessons. First, it highlights the dangers of arrogance. Oedipus's belief that he could outwit fate borders on hubris, a cardinal sin in Greek thought. Second, it reminds us that ignorance doesn't protect us from consequences. Oedipus didn't know who he truly was, but that didn't stop his actions from having devastating effects. Finally, and perhaps most poignantly, it speaks to the human condition itself, the tension between choice and destiny, and our eternal struggle to control our own stories in a world that often feels like it's already written for us. Why Oedipus still matters. Despite the millennia that separate us from the ancient Greeks, the tragedy of Oedipus remains strangely relevant. Maybe we don't consult oracles, but we still wrestle with questions of identity, destiny, and whether we're truly in control of our lives. And admit it, there's something comfortingly cathartic about reading Oedipus's train wreck of a life and thinking, well, at least my family drama isn't that bad. In literature, Oedipus stands as a symbol of tragic irony, a man who solves the riddle of the Sphinx, but can't solve the riddle of his own existence until it's too late. His journey is one of discovery, disaster, and ultimately, a humbling confrontation with truths he tried desperately to outrun. If you enjoyed this ancient drama packed with destiny, riddles, road rage, and one epic family plot twist, don't forget to smash that like and subscribe. Got a favorite myth or tragic hero you want us to cover next? Drop it in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, and remember, fate might be powerful, but around here, your destiny is just one click away from more awesome stories.